Hey everyone, I just realized it was live and I have to spit out gum. I just started chewing gum and I'm going to spit that out before we start. Hang on. Okay, so today I am doing not lunch prep, but going to do some baking with you. And this recipe is really easy. I'm going to wait for some of you to join, and please let me know when you're here and say hello, and then I'll get into the recipe. So today I'm going to make oatmeal banana bites from Plant Powered Families. And this is the recipe. Here, ta-da. Yeah, look at me, getting savvy with the camera. And that's the book, Plant Powered Families. And the reason I want to make these today is because school is back for most of us. Our girls go back on Thursday, and this is the time that I'm baking like healthy snacks and things for kids to take to school, and also for lunches, and just, during the day, going to activities. If you work from home or you're going out to work and you want to pack some healthy baked goods with you, this is a great one. Really, really good. It's easy. It uses very simple ingredients, and most of us have these on hand. It uses rolled oats. It uses, hi Carolyn, thanks for joining in and saying hello. It uses rolled oats and oat flour, bananas, which most of us have, and I know some of you don't like bananas. Whenever I do recipes with bananas, I hear people say, is there a substitute for bananas? So if that's the case, chime in and we'll talk about that. Otherwise, I'll just skip it and continue with the recipe. Every time I start a video, the dog comes out. He knows. He's here now and he's going to scratch or bark or do something. We'll see now. And there's no sugar added to this recipe, no sweetener at all. It's just ripe banana. And finally, it's made with, like I said, rolled oats and oat flour, so it's whole grain, and also no oil added. So it's really easy, simple ingredients, fast to make, tasty, and you can really kind of customize them as well. So if there's ingredients you want to add in, you can do that. So we'll talk about that as we go. And please ask questions along the way so that I can address it in the moment. And hi Denise, thanks for joining. So I actually have some in the oven now, so that when the recipe is done, I'll be able to show them to you finished, rather than have to wait 15 minutes and just chat on about the dog or whatever else I feel like chatting about. Okay, so let's get started. We have today, every time my camera or my video also starts to, my computer, the fan kicks in and it starts to rev up and make sound when I'm taping. So I'm sorry about that. I don't really know what to do about it. If someone is out there and has a really good suggestion, then let me know. On cue, the dog is barking. There we are. All right. So we are starting with a cup of oat flour. Now, oat flour is just the whole grain oats blitzed into a flour, much like you would get spelt flour or whole wheat flour. That's all it is. So for many years, I made oat flour at home. I would put rolled oats in my blend tech, blitz it, make a flour. Now I tend to buy it. It's kind of easy. It skips a step of prep, and I always have it on hand for how much baking I do. But I keep it in a big canister, and already have the measuring cup in here because I just made them. So to measure, I just scoop in the measuring cup, allow the flour to go in really lightly, and then whoop, level off. Don't even need a knife, we have fingers, just done. Into the bowl. And I'm a messy baker, so as you see, I usually have dust, crumbs, flour all over the place, sticky stuff. That's how I roll. And a cup of rolled oats, same thing, just level it off with your fingers in to the bowl. Let's see if there's any questions yet. Hi Janet, thanks for joining. No questions yet. There's Ollie. We add a little bit of nutmeg and cinnamon. So again, this is where you can play it up. You really love cinnamon, add more cinnamon. If you don't like cinnamon and you like nutmeg more, add a little more of that. Another spice that's really good in here is if you like cardamom, ground cardamom. That's beautiful in these as well. So you could always sub in some of that. So we're adding about 1/4 teaspoon to a teaspoon, or sorry, quarter to a half teaspoon of cinnamon. And I go through a lot of cinnamon, so I buy bigger bags and then put it in a larger jar. There we go. And then nutmeg. This is already ground. I will say that if you buy the whole nutmeg and grate it with a kitchen rasp, the flavor is nicer. So if you want to do that, go for it. Beep. A little bit of nutmeg. I don't know why I'm adding sound effects today. I don't know. And just give that a stir around. We're adding in a touch of salt. So not much. It's like a couple of pinches, just a scant quarter teaspoon. And people sometimes ask why you add salt to a recipe. Kimberly Ann is making them with me. Awesome. I love that. I think that's the first time I've had someone join and make the recipe, so that's super fun. Thanks. Hi, Renee. And so what was I saying? Salt. So when you add just a touch of salt to a recipe or to a baked good, and you do not have to. If you don't want to use the salt, don't use it. But it adds just like a little bit of balance to the sweetness. It's kind of like it heightens it by adding just a tiny amount. And you'll notice it if you bake without and then you do a batch with it. It just kind of heightens the sweetness that's there. Not like you're adding more sweetness, it just heightens it. So that's that. And then some baking powder. And I think it's a teaspoon. Yeah, a teaspoon of baking powder. Same thing, level it off. I tend to sometimes level it off with the bag, just like that, and my finger, boom, done. And that is the dry ingredients, I believe. Yes. And now we use overripe banana. So as you can see, I've got a couple of very freckly bananas here. I actually like bananas this way. I do not like green bananas. So like we have some here, like that, and that's not so appealing to me. Well, they're starting to get a little freckly, not too bad. But I like them fairly freckly. I will say these are getting a little bit overripe, but they'll work great for the recipe. So you can mash this, but what I like to do instead, take off the stringy bits, is use a mini food processor or a blender or one of those immersion blenders if you have it. So Ollie, come on, come here, come here. So you're gonna slice it up and pop it into your food processor. I don't even often slice it, I just break it up. And you need a cup of pureed banana. So I generally know how much that is because I've made these enough times. It's about 2 medium bananas or 1.5 large. But the recipe's kind of flexible. If you have like a scant cup, that's okay. If you have just a little bit over, that's okay too. And this is a mini food processor that has the immersion attachment, so it's both, right? You can process in the mini processor or use it for the immersion, which I use a ton for soups. And this is I learned how to say it properly the other day. Breville. I've been calling it Breville for a long time. Now you could mash this. I just really like the texture of it being pureed. If you want to leave it a little chunky, that's okay. So I have friends that I've just made that are from Australia, and was chatting with them yesterday and talking about appliances and such. And I said Breville a few times, and then I think they said Breville, and I said, yeah, oh yeah, I said it's an Australian company, it's Breville, and I said, oh, now I know how to pronounce it. So for everyone that's been watching, especially those of you from Australia and have heard me say Breville, it's Breville. Anyhow, we're going to measure that up. It's about a cup, so we'll see how close it is. Yeah, it's about a cup, see? So if you are really scant on the cup, that's really about spot on. Then you could, like if you don't have enough ripe bananas, if you have some in the freezer, you could let them thaw and use those, like thaw enough to puree. You could add a little bit of applesauce as well, just to kind of top up the cup. And hi Marlene, thank you, I appreciate that. I am enjoying doing the videos and I appreciate that you're enjoying them, thank you. So getting this in to the mixture. Okay, that is the banana oat bundles, or the oatmeal banana bites that are finished. So I'm going to pull those out, get the banana into compost. Our compost container is emptied about 10 times a day. It's all day long. There. And we're going to get this mixed up. So that's just the pureed banana. This is what we're using for sweetness. This is it. If you want to make them sweeter, for sure you can. You could add a little bit of date sugar. You could add some coconut sugar. If you want to add a little bit of liquid sweetener, you could, but I wouldn't use too much because it will make them thinned out. But I'd say like a tablespoon or 2 even would be fine. And really you wouldn't need more than that to sweeten up because they're pretty sweet with the banana. Oh, and I forgot vanilla. I did, yes. So 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. This is a vanilla, pure vanilla I bought on Amazon, and I really like it. It's got great flavor. And often I use vanilla bean powder, which I should talk about in another video, like so. And it's the pure vanilla bean that's been ground, and it's so fragrant. It's intoxicating, almost to smell. I'm going to show you now since we're here, show you. See, it's the pure vanilla bean powder. I can add the link of that brand that I've been using. I also get this one on Amazon. And it's expensive. It's like $30-something, I think, to buy this. But it lasts at least, I'd say, a year. Keep it nicely closed so it doesn't get, you know, oxidized and spoil the flavor. But you use maybe a 1/4 teaspoon, 1/2 teaspoon for any given recipe. And the aroma is absolutely beautiful. Like, I can't even compare it. Pure vanilla is beautiful, but this is something special, like really, really special. And the kids love it. Whenever I open it, they ooh and ah. They think it's amazing. So just working that vanilla through, and I see I have a little bit of extra banana puree there, so I'm scraping that out and adding it in, and we're done. So, you know, I talked a lot through this recipe. Really, you could put this recipe together probably in 5 to 10 minutes, right? I'm chatting, talking to you, but this could probably be put together in 5 or 10 minutes. Seen a couple of... Katie says these are her kiddos' favorite oatmeal snack. Awesome. Thank you. That's super to hear. My kids love them too. And so I'm going to get them on the pan, and I'm going to show you how I kind of treat them up a little bit too. So I'm going to use, I use an ice cream scoop. This is a small ice cream scoop. I think it's a 2 tablespoons. You could use a larger one and make them bigger, and then you just bake them maybe another minute or so. So like, I'm all over the place. This is a standard ice cream scoop. You could use that. This is a 2 tablespoons. So just get a scoop, pop it on parchment lined baking sheet, and you should get about 9 to 12. I think the batch I just did, I think I got 10, but I made some of them a little bigger. So I'm going to do about 5 right now, straight up plain. And then, oh yes, we are adding chocolate chips because chocolate. Yeah, so you know, you don't need to measure chocolate, right? Does anyone ever measure chocolate? Like, really, I think we just throw in what we want to put in there, right? So do the same. So these are mini chips, which are really nice, I find, for things like this because they, the big chips, kind of like a little too chunky sometimes in these baked goods. I like the mini chips. And there's quite a few brands of vegan chocolate chips now. Look at the ingredients. Some will say vegan on the packaging, but there are dark chocolate chips that you think are vegan, and then you look at the ingredients and they'll have some form of milk ingredient. So it really pays to check the ingredients. Even if you look at it and you think semi-sweet, dark, okay, that's good, you should always just double check. And that, boom. almost done. So I think, let's see how many I got here. That one's a bit bizarre shaped, but who cares? So yeah, I think I got 12. Yep, 12 out of that batch. So I just made those a little smaller. And then the chocolate chip ones, sometimes I like to just put a few more chips on top, just so you know which ones have the chips for sure, if it's not showing. Because sometimes these are nice to have as more of a like treaty treat with the chocolate chips. And other times, like I know sometimes I want one in the night before bed and I don't want to have chocolate then. I just want to have something that's kind of going to satisfy me. I always need a snack before bed. So that's that. They're going to go in the oven. So you can see those. I got so much going on here. This is not a professional video, guys. So that's that. They're going in the oven at 350 for about 14 minutes. Now, if you made them bigger, you'd want to bake them about 15 minutes. In fact, I think I'm going to do those. My oven dash is broken, so I'm finicky with it here. I'm going to do these 13 minutes. This is the one that's done. Don't do what I just did. The pan is a bit hot, but my hands have gotten so used to the heat that I just grab it. And so here they are finished. Little yummy oatmeal bites. Oh, I've got a few comments. Hi Daria, she's saying she got inspired to make them right away. Awesome. Simone just coming on. The ingredients again in these. The recipe link is in the description of the video. So when we're done here, you can look at the description. And I link over to a back to school post that has healthy baked goods and all of the baked goods. I think there's 10 recipes there, and there's some different ones, muffins, granola bars, and these are in it. And it's oats, oat flour, cinnamon, nutmeg, pinch of salt, and pureed banana, a little bit of vanilla. Boom, you're done. And really, again, you could do these, right, 5-10 minutes in the oven for about 15 minutes. And look at this cool one, because I actually used frozen banana for these because I didn't have enough ripe bananas and I wanted to show them to you cooked. So I used some frozen banana obviously out of the freezer. And when I pureed it, it was still really cold, so it was almost like a banana whip. So when I made the batter, it was really thick and it just stood right up. So I probably could have made different shapes with those. It's kind of funky. So yeah, that's that. Those are the banana bites, and I think that's all the questions. So yeah, hop over to the post and get some details on the recipe making them. Hope you really enjoy them, and I will be back soon. I can't say I know with what yet. Oh, question about how come they don't come out flat. Well, they're not a cookie, so they're not meant to be flattened like a cookie. I call them bites. I have other recipes that I call snackles. It's kind of like, almost like a mini muffin is what it is. So they're not meant to be flattened like a cookie. You could flatten them if you want, press them down before baking, and they'll have a flatter texture, flatter form when they're done. But they're simply more of a snack than a sweet cookie, if you know what I mean. And yeah, and Kimberly says done and oven ready. Awesome, you're fast. See, they're easy. So I've had a couple of people bake along. I hope you try them too. Thanks everyone for joining in and mentioning that you were making them, and I hope you all give them a try. And like I said, I'll be back soon. Enjoy your day, and thanks for joining. Bye-bye.